Hey Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot and welcome to Libra season. Oh my goodness, let me tell you, get ready. This is the season, this is the biggest season for success of the year for you. You are kissed with the Midas touch during Libra season. We've got a lot to cover, so pause the video, get a cup of coffee, get a, whatever you need to get snuggly, get comfy, maybe get some room to do some happy dances here and there. But either way, welcome to Libra season where you are being set up for success in the right direction forward for the long term and the long haul. Oh my goodness. So right away with the Cosmo Oracles. Oh, okay, that's a little much, but I'm just going to put it out there. Spirit's really saying this is the time. Be authentic. Anything else is just exhausting, right? This is Libra season. This is your season. Libra is in our second house, our house of self-worth. The sun, our energy source, our vitality is moving into Libra on the autumn equinox, which I know just passed. I'm a little behind on getting this out, so thank you guys so much for your patience. But Libra season will be happening for us from September 22nd, right after that solar eclipse, new moon in Virgo, right after Mars moves into Scorpio. Oh my goodness, talk about like warrior energy in such a beautiful way of like, let's get it. Let's do some investigative work. Let's strike while the iron's hot. Be strategic with moving forward and doing it fearlessly kind of energy. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. But Libra season will go all the way through and carry us into October, until October 22nd. And with the sun changing signs into Libra, into our second house on the autumn equinox, with a 12-hour difference, back to back to back from the solar eclipse, new moon, to Mars changing signs in our third house, to now the autumn equinox, this is a gorgeous energy. And like I say, this is the season where you are truly being kissed with the Midas touch. What you touch truly turns to gold. Your second house is activated. So this is shifting our focus to redefining our values, rebalancing our material and our emotional that flew out. And our emotional resources. And this season truly is infused with intensity from the solar eclipse in Virgo. It's infused with the intensity and the passion that we have towards our long-term goals with Mars and Scorpio. And also Mercury is going to be moving into Scorpio, prompting, deep transformation. Rather than just a simple desire for harmony, this season is truly much more than that for Virgos. And Chiron's going to be playing a role as well. So Chiron is going to be helping us with relational recalibration. This is our wounded healer. He'll be playing a role with, and it's a big role as well, but it's also a big part of healing with the sun and in our second house. And the new moon in Libra. That's coming in at the end of the season with balancing the emotional labor in our lives, charging our worth, healing past financial hurts and unhealthy relationship patterns, and recalibrating our intentions in how we earn, how we save, how we spend our resources. And to top that off, we've got Pluto moving direct this season. We have a super full moon in Aries, action, initiation in our 8th house of transformation. Venus will also be heading home to Libra in our second house, right alongside with the sun. And they're all working together to ensure that you're set up for success. This is the biggest season of success for Virgos the entire year of 2025. And they're making sure that you're traveling in the right direction forward for the long haul. Let's not forget as well, like I say, I'll say it again, Mars in Scorpio is truly blessing you with legendary growth this whole Libra season. And if you've got goosebumps, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because this is truly Virgo season, even though it's Libra season. You know what I meant. But either way, with the oracles here, this is staying present. Scorpio energy with Mars, that's going to be helping you with this. This is where life happens. Your focus is going to be razor sharp. It's going to be focused with strategy, with really having that knowledge behind you, with facing challenges head on, with looking at things in a way that helps you with recalibration, bringing you back to balance, but also too with a focus on finances in such a way that truly what you touch turns to gold. This is the ability to make money out of anything that you undertake. This is the season. So right away on the 23rd, and spoiler alert, I am recording this on the 23rd. I'm a little late with getting this behind. There was a lot going on. I tried to keep up with it, but I tell you what, the seasons change much faster than sometimes I realize with life happens, you know? So thank you guys for your patience with me in this. But on the 23rd, right away, the sun is going to be opposing Neptune. And remember, Neptune is still in retrograde in our 8th house, transformation in Aries. There's also still a bit of that energy from Saturn opposing the sun as well. Saturn's in Pisces, in our 7th house of relationships, commitments, really looking at the compassion of things, right? And remember, Neptune in this position is helping us diffuse any type of illusions, delusions, deceptions. Saturn's helping us build the structure. On the 23rd as well, the sun is going to be trining Uranus and Pluto. Both of those two are in retrograde at this point. So Uranus is in Gemini in the 10th house. That's looking at all the changes that you've made, that you've been thinking about making when it comes to career, honors, achievements, launching businesses, wherever you invest your time and energy, and asking you, okay, how's it going? Is what you thought you wanted working out the way you thought it was? You like where we're headed? Do we need to look at other routes that we didn't get to explore? Were there things that you touched on that you really want to explore further? Pluto, still in retrograde at this point as well, in our 6th house of home, in Aquarius. So I should say 6th house of work, which is our home. Let me refine that a little. So with this energy, with Pluto in particular, this is looking at our lifestyle, all the changes that we've made with Uranus. I did say it. Oh my God, Uranus. Know what I meant? But both of those two are looking at your work, your career, your lifestyle, your daily routines, habits, focus on health, work-life balance. How's it all working out for you? Especially with channeling that inner spiritual warrior, how you define success, where you'd invest your time and energy, where you're seeing that return on investment. When it looks at your honors, your achievements, right? Does it fill your bucket up? Does it light you up? And Saturn's focusing on the right partners for you. Neptune is dissolving illusions, delivering flashes of insight. All of this opposing the sun and trining the sun, all of this energy is delivering all of these reflections with flashes of insight as you look at things. And it's like lightning, especially around career, around work, networking, communication, truly delivering you a liberation from the old and centering your focus around income, value, worth. With the sun and the trines with Uranus and Pluto, this is truly a grand air trine of breakthroughs when it comes to work and career. So it's looking at, between all of this, what you hold most dear in the work that you do, how you work, your contributions, and making sure that they're honored, that they're respected, versus where they've been exploited. So this is a huge uncovering of energy, right? And I've felt this as well because I've gotten a few additional comments where it's like, I can tell, I'm not even going to go into it, but it's like, I can tell you value my work, and I haven't posted these comments, so I don't want to bring it into just a specific, but it really, the comments are mirroring basically, I can tell like how you feel about your value of yourself, or about how this person or these people are valuing themselves, because they're looking at my work and I can tell they value it. However, they're wanting to exploit it. And it's like, I'm sorry, these are boundaries. That's part of relationships, honoring each other, respecting each other. I'm not willing to do that for you. Super sorry, but no. So, and no is a sentence. The Six of Wands in reverse right away. This is looking at the minor hiccups, delayed news, potentially setbacks as well. You're reflecting on all of these, right? You're looking as well at where there's still strong untapped potential with all of this energy on the 23rd. And you're getting creative. With Pluto, you're getting innovative, thinking outside the box, how you can tap into that unlimited potential, that untapped potential that still has some exploration. The contributions on where you're truly honored. And also too, unveiling, looking at the hiccups where your efforts are being exploited and where your boundaries are being set with them, where you need to set boundaries with them, or two, where you need to bring balance, right? And it's helping with empowerment, especially with your solar plexus. That's knowing like you're capable, knowing who you are, what you do, why you're here, and knowing most importantly that you're enough. You don't need to settle for less. Your balance is in the integration of bringing that harmony into your life through honoring the reciprocities in your partnerships, in what you do, how you invest your time and energy. This energy is absolutely beautiful, walking straight into Libra season. It's gorgeous. And right away, on the 24th, once we have all this energy kind of come to the surface, give us this time of reflection with unveiling truly those deeper meanings, right? Where we need to work, where we're celebrating our successes. The 24th is a day that's kind of interesting. So, and I will say thank you guys to each and every one of you for all the happy anniversary wishes. Truly, 2 years ago to the day on the 24th, I started this channel. I woke up with an epiphany, and I was already trying to start 2 other channels. They weren't necessarily taking off. They also weren't necessarily fulfilling me in the way that I was thinking this was going to go. When I looked at wanting to get into videography, moving my photography to motion in a lot of ways, or putting my art out there, putting my music out there in a lot of ways too. So the one thing that it really didn't connect me with was the spirituality. I woke up on the 24th, 2 years ago, when Mars was back in this kind of energy as well, back in our 3rd house, back in Scorpio. And truly looking at like this epiphany, I woke up with it where I'm like, you know what? I do astrology. I love astrology. It fills me up. I love doing tarot. I've always done it for myself to feel those energies, right? For that intuition, that guidance. Let's share this with the world. And this is where the birth of this channel, the Honey Sea Star, really began. So on the 24th, on our anniversary, thank you guys once again for showering me with so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for lifting this channel up, creating this family with me, going on this journey with me too. This is where Mars, this time, is going to be squaring off with Pluto. So this is like go-getter planet of spirit, like the warrior, right? Planet of war, going after your long-term goals. Go get them kind of energy. With Scorpio in his home, in our 3rd house of communication, intellect, learning methods, this is in close like community, right? Your local community, family, in a lot of ways as well. This is where he is basically creating a tension in a good way with Pluto, the warrior, the planet of the underworld. So in Aquarius, that's breaking systems down, thinking outside the box, revolutionary ideas, right? In our 6th house of work, how you create your lifestyle, how you look at what kind of work fills your bucket, truly lifts you up, lights you up. So this is where with this square, there are, and especially with the 3rd house and the 6th house being activated here, you're having some important conversations. These two are bringing all of the hidden, unacknowledged power dynamics to the surface. And they have to do a lot with suppressed desires, unconscious fears, unresolved tensions, power struggles, deceptions, manipulations, hidden agendas, destructive impulses where we're self-sabotaging potentially, subconsciously or consciously. We may not even be realizing it, right? It's bringing all of that to the surface so that we can be cognizant of it. With a focus, with our 2nd house still being illuminated with the sun. This is looking at your values, looking at your worth, your self-worth, your salary, how you make your money, tying it all together, how you spend your resources, how you utilize your investments, and also receive that reciprocity of return on investment. They're coming up to the surface on this day. There's something big to be talking about. This will help you. I will say too as well, for all of us, we're all going to feel this energy. But what it'll also do is help with speeding up the pace of our personal and collective evolution. These two are allowing these important conversations to be had, revealing what needs to take place so that we can redirect our energy towards regeneration, towards growth, towards empowerment with all the destruction, where it's like putting a light on everything that's been not working so that we can redirect it towards reconstruction, towards growth, with a growth mindset, towards empowerment for you as well. And remember, like Venus in Virgo in our first house just changed signs as well. This is, I should say this, Venus is going to be sextile with the Scorpio moon, also in our second house. How we feel about our money, how we feel about our self-worth, how we feel about our values. Venus in our first house is reflective of ourself, right? So that's our state of consciousness, our identity, how we want to be known, how we show up in the world, how we show up for ourselves, for our relationships, for our long-term aspirations, for our empowerment in what we do and what we bring to the table in this world, our gifts that we share, how we share them. These two will be helping you with discernment and emotional regulation, as well as giving you a unique ability to process the deepest, hardest issues head on, so that we can come out to the table in the conversations that we're going to be having with ourselves, with others during this time, as our best selves, and deliver our words and our decisions, our boundaries, our emotions with grace, with authenticity, with honesty, and deliver them in a constructive way that offers healing, offers balance for whatever Mars and Pluto are illuminating and truly bringing to the surface for us to work with. So with the Hierophant, right away I can tell you it's going to be a challenge. It's going to require adjustment. It's going to lead towards adaptation and healing, and it's going to light up that crown chakra, your divine inner light, allowing yourself to truly step into the Fool's shoes and live a more inspired life. Truly, this energy, it's like I say, it's mindful because your words hold weight. They hold a lot of power, especially with Mars in our third house in Scorpio, with Venus in our first house. Remember, we're magnetizing. It's all breaking things down that haven't served our stability to create a foundation that truly is meant for you. Not necessarily following traditional values, but making sure that you're following your values. Not thinking so much that you need to go with the grain of group identification. Following the conventional norms, the preconditionings that we've been led to believe are the only way forward, but instead how you pave your way forward, with the Hermit coming out right away. This is through contemplation, seeking wisdom, receiving guidance, being a mentor, as well as seeking mentorship, not going with the grain, recognizing where you're a non-traditionalist, what serves you in all your Virgo energy, bringing you to a place of completion. And remember, the Hermit's journey, which I absolutely love. Like, a lot of times it's what brings to mind for me is not all who wander are lost, right? The Hermit a lot of times is often solitary. They're up in the mind, being ruled by Mercury quite a bit, but they seek this higher knowledge, the meaning behind things. They seek knowledge from across the globe, all cultures, all timelines, and it sheds light. He or she sheds light, illuminates on what's not necessarily seen, right? On that wisdom, that spiritual guide aspect, really embracing the Hermetic arts in a lot of ways, but following your intuition and truly recognizing that the knowledge that you hold is truly your power. And once they reach this point of completions, then they shine this world. They shine the light for the world around them, to then transfer into and transmute into a place of teaching, to teach all that they've learned along the way, and change from a place of seeking mentorship to being the mentor. This is where you're standing in your power. This is what they're doing with Mars and Pluto, with Venus and the Virgo, the Scorpio. I can talk, I swear. The Scorpionic moon in your second house. This is where you're truly recognizing your empowerment, what you have to share, looking at the lessons, the wisdom that you've gained along the way, and where you need to go, what cycles you need to end and integrate the wisdom from, so that you can truly achieve your goals. And on the 29th, we have a half moon in Capricorn. So where the Libra sun and the Capricorn moon are, they are actually square in alignment with this half moon. This is really gorgeous. So Libra season, yes, typically, especially, it's all about balance and harmony. But like I say, for us Virgos, in our second house, you're kissed with the Midas touch. This is the biggest season for success in all of 2025, for the long haul and the long term, to make sure you're in the right direction, headed in the right direction. And so this day, this half moon, truly is and that came out again, that's beautiful. Confirmation there with the Hermit card. This is truly a day and an energy of middle ground between love of order and ambitious drive. No wonder with Mars and Scorpio, right? This marks a turning point that tests new ideas and the new intentions, the projects that you've initiated around the new moon in Virgo. And it also is where practicality meets passion. This is where the discipline of putting your creativity into motion becomes illuminated with this half moon. It's the refinement and the changes of your daily habits that become illuminated and get put into motion without sacrificing your freedom or your innovation. And right away, I mean, look at this. This is where it's like, this is gaining new skills and knowledge, putting those into practice, moving towards mastery, learning and identifying what you still will need to learn, what you want to learn along the way, with dedication that truly brings you to the Midas touch, right? With your coins at the focus and at the center. And again, we've got that confirmation of coming to a place of completion, illuminating what needs to be seen. And like I say, putting all of this into motion without sacrificing your freedom or your innovation. With the 9, this is gorgeous. This is becoming a consultant, right? In a lot of ways. You could be moving into a place of consulting, spiritual teacher, sharing your wisdom in one shape or form or another. But when it comes to your life, when it comes to balancing unhealthy relationship patterns, like I say, recalibrating your intentions and how you earn, save, spend resources, this is where you're bringing things into balance and harmony, especially when it comes to partnerships, when it comes to friendships, sincere allies, business partnerships, loving what you do, finding peace in the work that you do, your soul's calling, what fills you up, lights you up, and puts a little bit of romance in there too. Now, we are also very blessed. So on the 6th, we are blessed with a super full moon in Aries. This is where polarities come into sharp focus. I'm very excited to do a reading on this full moon. Stay tuned for that, because Mercury is also on the same day of this super full moon in Aries. Mercury is going to be entering Scorpio in our 3rd house, sitting right next to Mars for a bit. This is intense. Intense communications, intense downloads. And this full moon is going to be at 14 degrees. This is when that breaks down, beginnings in your foundation, change in the 8th house. So let's talk about that. The Aries moon is going to be in our 8th house. Shared resources, intimacy, debt, transformation, exposing imbalances in your relationships regarding finances, emotional labor, and helps us with releasing control and allowing others to contribute fully. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because this full moon at 14 degrees truly is all about highlighting give and take, like reciprocity in Libra season, full balance with who we work with. It's the me versus we tension, if you will. And so with this aspect, with all this focus on where you need to release control, allowing others to truly help you, and when it comes to collaboration, allowing them to contribute as well, not carrying their weight either, but allowing them, honoring that path in what they contribute and what they bring to the table. This is the time where it's truly going to be helping you with understanding and learning where you've been over-functioning, where you've potentially even been micromanaging, to a point where it's hindering the deeper connections that evolve through the bond of trust, in knowing that we lift each other up. We're not meant to carry each other in that way. Certainly, when people are hurting, when they're still learning, Yes, there's a bit of that. There's a give and take, right? But this is truly a great energy. Mercury in Scorpio as well is also going to be bringing deeper, more investigative energy to understanding and illuminating these areas, these aspects, and bringing them into the communication that you're having with others so that you can deepen those connections, deepen those bonds. And it will also be helping with, it'll be helping you with discovering these hidden truths. Truly, this is the time with this super full moon, it is really about letting go. And let me tell you, there's this thing going on between the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. And by letting go, the true thing to remember, if you're struggling with letting go of control during this time, I just want to forewarn you or prepare you. By doing this, you're actually making room for something very beautiful on the 8th. We'll get into it. So, this is looking at where your triumphs are in your leadership, right? Where your successes are, where you reach the fruits of your labor, personal satisfaction, especially with Mercury moving into Scorpio in our 3rd house, communication, intellect, learning, local communities. Really finding that triumph in the fruits of your labor and the energies that you share with others, how you share with others, where you allow other people as well to come in and fully contribute with co-collaboration, with humanitarian efforts, with networking, with lifting each other up. This is where you're looking at all these aspects that potentially have trust issues, right? Deep-seated issues as well, where there's imbalances in relationships, where it's hindering your connections in a lot of ways. Could be the pains from the past that you're still carrying with, or other people as well. Where other people are, you're creating this safe space in a lot of ways too with the super full moon. It should say too, it is creating this place of transformation that's very safe when it comes to shared resources, intimacy, debt, transformation, exposing where there's imbalances, where there's emotional labor that's unbalanced, where finances are imbalanced, where it's caused sorrow, separation, trauma even as well. And you're defending your ground, right? You're fighting your goals, you're standing your ground, you're persevering. But also too, you're looking at what comes to the surface with the communication, with the intensity of Mercury in Scorpio, in our 3rd house. Having that investigative approach, facing challenges head on so that you can truly release that type of over-functionality, right? Recognize where it's hindering your connections. And on the 7th, Mercury is going to be square with Pluto. So Mercury in Scorpio, 3rd house, squaring off with Pluto in Aquarius, 6th house. This offers a time of deep honesty with yourself and with others. This is innovation. This is, like I say, with Pluto, 6th house of work, daily routines, habits, where you're over-functioning, where you're micromanaging, how you can be more innovative, how you can think outside the box, work harder, not smarter. And that also, like I say, involves your relationships. So these two are unearthing these deep-seated issues that have been coming to the surface or are going to be illuminated with the super full moon, especially those that are deep-seated issues in your relationships. So it's an opportunity truly to have difficult conversations and navigate a way through the power struggles that promotes healing in a very, very beautiful, prolific way, especially with the 7 of Swords coming out 50-50. So this is really on the upswing. Looking at where there's deceptions, manipulations, thefts, deceits, sneaky behavior, insincere allies, lies altogether, right? This supermoon, it's illuminating it. Let's be real. Pluto is breaking them down. Pluto is basically saying, hey, you know what? We're looking at everything that's been suppressed. We're looking at where there's been resentment that's been building up that nobody's been voicing. And Mercury is saying, okay, let's talk about it. So this is listening to your consciousness. Truly, confessions are coming to the table where it's like, hey, you know what? When you do this, it really bothers me. Or, hey, when this happens, this is how I feel. It's going to usher in, especially if there's been power struggles, not only accountability, but catching something in the act. And remember, with the 7 of Swords in the upright, he's doing this in the daylight, right? when things are done in the daylight like this, they're meant to be caught. That's what this is all about. It's coming to the table with that accountability, with that honesty, with the integrity, especially when it comes with navigating through power struggles. And it offers us this beautiful opportunity to have these conversations, to clear that air of everything that's been suppressed in a way that no longer hinders the connections, the bonds, but allows us instead to strengthen them. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts, because on the 8th, like I was saying, something beautiful is happening here. So this is all to truly make room for a deeper type of love leadership. Venus in our first house in Virgo is going to be sextiling Jupiter in Cancer in our 11th house. Hopes, wishes, dreams, sextile. This is harmony. This is offering us this huge opportunity. So mark your calendars. This is offering us an opportunity with all that you've now made room for love to come in, for creativity to come in, for abundance to become in, or to become in? Know what I meant? To come in. This is truly the time. Mark your calendar for the 8th, the 6th through the 8th, truly, because this is where, like I said at the beginning, you're kissed with the Midas touch this season. This is the biggest season for success. This is going to be a huge pinnacle of success moment. So with Venus sextile Jupiter during this time, all of this is going to be centered around all of the abundance. Wow, the cards are just flying today. My goodness, hold on. Okay. It stayed on the table. That's all I gotta say. Oh, this is too funny. But this is where Venus and Jupiter, all of the creativity, all of the love, all the abundance is going to be centered around your identity, your state of being, your consciousness, your perceptivity, how you perceive everything. How you perceive one thing is how you perceive everything, right? How you handle one thing is how you handle everything, especially when it comes to your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your social circle, your community, humanitarian efforts, blessings, optimism, luck, opportunity, with self-love, with your state of consciousness. Remember, it starts with your state of being. Being leads to doing. Doing leads to having. This is the day where all that room that you've just made, all that you've let go of when it comes to control, where you've been overfunctioning, where you've been micromanaging, what's been hindering your connections. Jupiter's now coming in with this beautiful support. And Venus is coming in with discernment, with love, with magnetization, with your charm. And it's centered around self-love. It's centered around your community, your circle. This is gorgeous. So truly, if you've got goosebumps like I do right now, put a heart in the comments below, because this is a day that's going to be delivering a very big gift, and it's long lasting. So with the 5 of Swords in reverse, this is where it's like, again, accepting minor defeat, but moving on from it. Moving on from the conflict. Instead of handling it with conflict, handling it with healing, with compromise, with avoiding greater harm, with focusing on where we can construct together, where we can contribute, where we can seek penance as well, but get back into that sacral energy, that sacral creative flow, and truly use the wounding and transmute it into wisdom going forward. It's gorgeous energy, because this is really ushering in a point with the 9 of Pentacles where success now has room to grow. Prosperity comes in, material comforts come in, and it's through the idea truly that we are stronger together. Unity is our strength, not divisiveness, right? This is enjoying that return on investment, but also being confident in who you are and the partners that you stand with. This is also too standing in all relationships that are healthy. What I love the best, I had somebody articulate this to me once, and it stuck with me, and I truly absolutely love this, because with all partnerships, no matter what they are, business, personal, marital, you name it, right? Even parents, siblings, cousins, familial partnerships, neighbor partnerships, communal partnerships with your community, right? They all have this balance between 3 dynamics. There's an independence, there's a mutuality, And then there's the balance of how we come to the table together and honor each other just as we are, in cherishing both elements in our individuality, what we bring to the table, and what we build together. This is that day. This is that energy, and it's filled with good news. It's also filled with the inner peace that then goes and manifests in your outer world as well. This is also standing in your element, and also too, Venus. She's got a lot of concentrated energy between the 8th and the 13th, because on the 13th, Venus is going to be entering Libra, right along with the Sun in our second house. Values, income, worth, self-worth. Monetizing our efforts, seeing that return on investment, utilizing our discernment. Our planet of love, our planet of harmony, is moving back home into Libra, cuddling up by the fire with the sun, with our cozy blanket, maybe a kitty or two, cup of coffee, cup of hot chocolate, whatever, you name it, maybe some chai latte. I had to say that with an accent for some reason. But these two, as Venus enters Libra right alongside with the sun with Soul's Temple, are truly amplifying your charm, your grace, your heart's desires with your source energy. This is gorgeous. This is beautiful. This is a gift in such a prolific way. So this is with balance, with harmony in our stability, worth, value, income, salary, success. Double confirmation here. Like I say, Venus is changing a lot of beautiful things between the 8th and the 13th. This is accomplishments, personal career development, and a lot of you are stepping into some love leadership roles that revolve around servant leadership. And we'll get into that as well, because it's monumental. Pluto has a lot to do with it, and it's on the 13th still. This is with your ambition, holding that vision, making plans and decisions with wisdom, coming to resolution where there was once conflict, or what was deeply seated, unresolved, hidden in those transformations, right? This is taking action in your originality, but also too having that drive, that passion, that honesty with Mars in Scorpio in our 3rd house. It's all about how you're networking, your PR, your brand, taking action on your long-term goals fearlessly, and embracing the balance in your partnerships, bringing balance to your partnerships. And like I say, it truly is the season where you're being kissed with the Midas touch. What you touch turns to gold, and it's setting you up for success in the right direction, moving forward for the long term and the long haul. This is embracing those polarities, right? Recognizing the independence and the mutuality, what we create together because of that we're stronger together because we don't think alike, because we come to the table with new, different opportunities. And this is going to reflect in the choices that you make, the decisions that you make. Pluto as well, at the same time, on the 13th that Venus enters Libra, Pluto will also be stationed direct in Aquarius in the 6th house. And here's where things get fun. So Pluto's been in this retrograde period, right? He's been basically channeling our inner spiritual warrior, making us reflect, asking us to reflect on innovation outside the box, how we truly connect our faith to the day-to-day in our lives, in our 6th house, our work, our routines, our health. In Aquarius, this is revolutionary. This is evolutionary, ascension. This is going to be prompting when Pluto goes direct. Keep that in mind, that Venus is just getting through this sextile period with Jupiter. Now she's coming home. Pluto, we'll get into this, but this is so gorgeous. So this is a day to truly pay attention to. So Pluto is going to be prompting some major shifts in power dynamics, both individually and collectively. And he's now where he's asked you guys, asked all of us to basically go in and see the changes that we make and look at the dualities here. Two of Wands, Two of Swords, where you are stuck between the middle, looking at stalemates, confusion, indecision, difficult choices, not knowing which way to go. Balance is coming in when Pluto moves direct. Major shifts in power dynamics. both individually and collectively. And he's being lifted up. Like before he moves direct, he's got like this like blessing coming from Jupiter with optimism, luck, opportunity. Venus with all the love, and they're both like basically giving these pats on the back to Pluto, our god of the underworld, our planet of the underworld, and saying, okay, boy, get it. And Pluto's like WWE. I don't watch WWE, by the way. But either way, this is like a WWE moment where he's like, okay, tap me in. I'm ready. Let's go. I got this. He's pumped. He's ready. He's in your 6th house. Major shifts in power dynamics in your work, daily routines, your lifestyle. And like I was saying before, with Venus now in your 2nd house of worth, values. This is all about servant leadership in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to that micro level, how it's going to impact you directly. This is where it's like how you lead yourself, how you lead others, where you can allow people to truly come to the table and meet you halfway in your reciprocity when it comes to what you're building, how you do your day-to-day, lifting each other up, not just you lifting others up, right? And the best thing about servant leadership that I love the most is you've done your job right. When you lift others up, when you build systems, functions, processes that are in balance and functioning at their best, in harmony, where you can let go of control, you can walk away and they operate just fine without any type of issue. If any issues come up, it's seamless. They know how to handle it because you've empowered people. You've helped give them the tools so that they can succeed, right? You've set up systems with fail-safes that allow them where it's like, okay, if there's a hiccup here, we know how to handle it. This is where Pluto is coming in. He's shaking things up with that power dynamic where it's like, no. Getting out of your own way brings to mind at the micro level. When it comes to the macro level, get ready to sit down. So he'll also be shifting power dynamics when it comes to long-term societal changes. Especially think back to the age of Aquarius, right? Late 1960s. This is a time when he moves direct in Aquarius. Power, just as an example, this is where he's breaking things down, right? Everything that's from the underworld that's not been serving us, that's been serving imbalances. I don't want to get demonetized. That's been serving imbalances in our societal structures. He's given us this time, this opportunity, this reflection when he's been in retrograde to uncover and illuminate everything that was done behind closed doors, underneath the surface. He's brought all of it to the light so that we're all cognizant of it. He's brought truth, what's not working, where there's been abuses of power, imbalances of power, misuse of power in a lot of ways. So as an example, this is where you could see big, and these are long term, right? He's slow moving. So as an example, we could see power being given back to the people and back to the state, back to municipalities, so that it truly reflects the community's needs rather than being managed at a federal level. Just as an example, if you're in the States, this is also where you could see opportunities, like in what's going on with the challenge of our First Amendment rights, our freedom of speech, where we've had time now to, it's uncovered where there's been a misuse of power, possibly led more by the ego, right? More by things that we now have an opportunity to truly reflect on and ask ourselves, are we operating for the greater good? Are we honoring the systems that we've put in place that allows equitability for everyone? Or has there been a misuse of power? Are we trying to diminish what those rights are meant to lift us up with? Just as an example. Now, getting a little figurative, because I like to do that. Got to make it fun. So this is where, especially during harvest season, the way that I would put it with Pluto, especially because it's like during this point of reflection, we've had this opportunity to uncover all these aspects, see what hasn't been working, more importantly, see what we maybe need to change so that we can make it better, right? He's given us that opportunity. Now, when he is stationed direct, if you're on a farm, let's just say, bringing it there, say you got, it's harvest season, it's apple season. Let's be honest. We've got apple pies to bake. We've got apple crisps to make. We have apple cider to be enjoying as well with our spiced lattes. This is the time where Pluto, he's like, okay, let's get it. Tap me in, right? Let's do this. Time to take action. Fresh starts, prosperity, success, innovation, outside the box. Let's get this with our new beginnings. He's looking at those apples and he's basically saying, okay, so now we know which apples have spoiled, and they are like so far gone, not even the donkeys can get drunk on them, right? There's too much, there's too much kind of fermentation going on. We don't want the donkeys to get sick. We certainly don't want the bulls to get sick. We certainly don't want the bears to get sick either, right? And they're even a little too far gone for the pigs. We certainly don't want them, for as smart as they are, for as wonderful as they are creatures that are so amazing on the farm. They get rid of everything, right? Pigs are amazing with transmutation. Like, you can give pigs so many different types of food, they'll take care of it for you. But this is where it's like, we're looking at the apples that are even too far gone for everybody, even to get drunk on. They're going to get sick on them if we give them to them anymore. And we're looking at this from Pluto's innovation. We're putting them where we really truly can use them, because it's about working smarter, not harder. So we're taking those apples, we're putting them right in the compost, because all those bugs, all that fermentation is going to do what it needs to do with the yeast to truly bake down that compost pile so that it becomes fertile soil for our next year's season. This is where he is truly utilizing all of our resources, looking at our lifestyles, our daily routines, how we define success. And he's lifting all of us up with a servant leadership that sets us up for success in a way where he can then walk away and let systems at a micro level and long-term wise societal level truly operate that reflect in ways that reflect communities' needs with empowerment. This is truly what he's bringing in when he goes direct. And let me tell you, like I say, he's got Venus at home in her house, in our second house, in Libra. Balance, harmony, stability, worth, values, income, salary, heart's desires, with grace. Curled up by the fire, with a cup of coffee, with a cozy blanket. This is meeting challenges in a very auspicious, favored time. This is going to be creating not only contentment, but health, wealth, prosperity, success, fresh starts, new beginnings, but empowering a stable foundation for everyone. This is hippie love in a beautiful way, collaboration, that we are smarter and stronger together. We are set up through success with cooperation, not survival of the fittest. This is truly what Pluto is doing when he goes direct. It's going to be gorgeous. Mark your calendars for the 13th, because this is allowing everyone to be solid in all parts of our foundations. So even at just as an example, this is like where we start really looking at integrity, especially, I don't want to get demonetized, so please. But just as an example, Minnesota right now is going through an aspect, looking at the housing industry, housing crisis that we've got going on. When you start looking at who, follow the money, basically, right? When you look at what's going on with what's not served us, what's really been coming to the light in many different areas is how many places a larger company has their hand in. And as an example, like we've seen that in our television aspects with the aspect of Jimmy Kimmel, right? That just happened. And how the merger, the money, has led to a misuse of power. How do we correct that? At a smaller level as well, and at a larger level, what we're also starting to see tied together with illumination is how many pots, I should say, companies that are huge finance companies like BlackRock, that they are truly tied to when they, as they define it, as hard assets. And when you follow the money, where they're involved in lobbying, how they've, oh my goodness, Champion just snored confirmation. If that resonated with you and you heard that, put a heart in the comments below. But as an example with BlackRock, when you follow the money, how involved they are in our politics in the States and in our government when it comes to lobbying, when it comes to the housing industry, how involved they are with hard assets, when it comes to commercial real estate, multi-residential real estate, single-family home real estate. Also, too, even at a smaller level, municipality-wise, how, like in my state, in order to be a landlord, you have to have a broker's license. Well, then that means that you're a realtor. You actually, part of your job is to assess and look at where you set the prices for the housing industry. Well, if you own most of the housing in a certain area, and you're also one of the realtors that basically is tied to this, and you're setting the prices, are you artificially inflating that housing market? Are you misusing your power? Also, too, in Minnesota, for instance, with hard asset acquisitions, we've seen this in the Upper Michigan aspects as well, where private profit companies are now starting to try and purchase municipal services like energy. And Minnesota's up against a very big thing right now. So for those that don't know, BlackRock is trying to purchase their energy company up by Duluth and Superior. That includes mineral rights, land rights, energy rights, and production. What we saw as an example, as a lesson learned over in the Upper Michigan area, is this has already happened in a smaller area. And unfortunately, what happens is, as the only energy provider for that area, they've now seen their energy prices increase threefold. And with going up against a company like BlackRock, not even the state has the ability to compete with them when it comes to monetary aspects, right? They don't have the money to go toe to toe. And this acquisition all boils down, lays on the hands of a handful of people. And it's going to affect thousands of people. Think about that. So, Venus, second house, values, ethics, integrity, love, harmony. This is where we're starting to uncover systems where profit has been leading the way in decisions where where integrity, values have not been honored or weighted as evenly as monetary assets. Pluto's coming in a very big way to re-empower systems where greed has taken over, misuse of power has been led in those ways. If that resonates, put a heart in the comments below. That's my spiel. But either way, this is where Pluto's coming in, and he's coming in with some energy. He's coming in with a bang to shift some power dynamics at a macro level that create long-term societal changes. So mark your calendars. This is big during Libra season. Now, on the 17th as well, like I say, Chiron's going to be playing a role here as well. Chiron, our wounded healer, on the 17th, is going to be opposing the sun. Now keep in mind, Chiron has been in retrograde in Aries since July 30th and will be in retrograde in reflection, right, through January of 2026. For us Virgos, he's standing in our 8th house of transformation, shared resources, intimacy. I hope you're seeing the patterning. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. This is where he is offering healing after we're being blessed, as we're being blessed by Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto, all through this time during Libra season with the Midas touch. So Chiron is interesting. When he opposes Pluto like this, when he opposes the sun in Libra, in our second house like this, for Virgos at a micro level, he's helping us with confronting and healing very deep-seated insecurities, financial anxieties, as we go through all the reflections of the retrogrades and have gone through all the retrogrades this summer. And as we reflected on the changing of the signs, the alignments of all the outer planets that truly has not happened in any of our lifetimes. Long-term changes, right? With these planetary alignments with changing. Uranus as an example, right? So this is where Chiron is coming into this aspect as well. He's now sitting opposite the sun in Libra in our second house of values, income, worth. These two are bringing healing to processes and bringing healing processes to the forefront, offering us a huge breakdown and breakthrough. Biggest thing, the breakthroughs in how we perceive our identity and what we value. So, our deepest vulnerabilities, especially as they concern trust, our emotional bonds, how we've experienced sharing resources with others, where we've been deceived or hurt, taken advantage of in these areas, and how they've impacted our identity, how they've impacted our perception, and how we've carried that wounding forward with us, how it's affected our role forward in our partnerships, and how we really invest in others. In a lot of ways, how we've been looking at different aspects by allowing money management to be maybe in a self-sacrifice kind of way, how we've undervalued ourselves. This is where he's truly bringing a moment of breakthroughs and healing conversations. This is where, with these two together, on the 17th, the Queen of Wands energy is coming through. This is standing in your virtue, thinking very clearly, looking down, like being down to earth with what you're investing your energy in, where you're putting your action into your dreams when it comes to that Aries energy, exalting Piscean energy. This is also too the reciprocity aspects with generosity, right? Standing in your self-confidence, being optimistic when it comes to working with people, but biggest thing, and where you invest, how you recalibrate your intentions, your goals, your self-worth, your resources. And as you can see, what he's doing is he's really balancing out the fire and the water elements here. And with that, he's basically extinguishing a fire of pain, washing through it with the emotions, right? Offering healing in a way that comes to the center and allows us to come to the center with unblocking that solar plexus. And remember, with the solar plexus, this is about knowing that you're enough. You always have been. By unblocking that solar plexus, it allows us to stand in our confidence in who we are, what we are, but most importantly, to be inspiration in action and truly engage in all areas of our life. And in particular, what they're going to highlight is our second house, and transform our values, our income, our worth in a very healthy way. Partner imbalances, right? Unhealthy relationship patterns. Recalibrate our intentions. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because this is a day to truly mark on your calendars, because it's going to be offering some very powerful conversations and very powerful healing. I mean, look at this at the bottom of the deck. I mean, yeah. Let's talk about this. Chiron, Chiron, Chiron. So, this is a time that is truly beautiful because it's going to be coming in right before we have the new moon in Libra, and we'll get into it because it's going to also, Chiron's also going to play a role with that as well. It's going to start really with this healing on the 17th. This is where we're going to be reminded of where our freedom, where we value our freedom, where we value our prosperity, financial success, how we make our wealth, how we achieve our goals, how we invest in family as well. This is all going to be helping us with looking at addressing areas, old wounds that are really revolving around your value, your resources, your self-esteem as we walk into a new chapter. So it's going to unveil some very good healing that's needed, probably long-lasting as well, or that's been long-lasting, in how the past has caused financial hurts in the present that have affected our self-worth. This is moving on from choppy waters into calmer seas in time for those new beginnings on the 21st as we walk into the Libra new moon, which is very powerful. It's a very energetic offering of balance and harmony, restoration in our partnerships and in our financial world. Like I say, you have the Midas touch. This is where this whole season, especially with Mars in Scorpio, you have the ability to make money out of anything that you undertake. This new moon is overcoming those hardships, bringing stability, could even be moving to a new environment. But when it comes to financials, you're moving. in your financial world, in your relationships, to a new environment, to a place of calm. And you also will have opportunity. With the Seven of Cups, you're spoiled for choice. You've got options, you've got desires, but you've got empowerment with Mars as well. And anything that's not serving you, that doesn't lead you to that Ten of Cups, you're letting the tower fall. All the loss, all the pain, you're letting it go. All the confusion, destruction, deceptions, disaster, you're letting it go. With this new moon, it's a huge time for restoration, balance, harmony. So this new moon in Libra on the 21st, right as we end Libra season, this is where it truly is your new beginning, and it's all about success. This is where you are empowered this whole month. You're being put in the right direction, making sure that you're being set up for the long haul, the long term, with the Midas touch, kiss from Jupiter, kiss from Venus and Mercury and Pluto. Now with this new moon, with this restoration, it's all about setting intentions around budgeting, charging fairly for your work. So what I really get with this new moon, with this Ten of Coins, a lot of you, there's going to be some work with Chiron on this time, especially between the 17th and the 21st, is that you're not valuing and charging enough for your work. Whatever you're doing, whatever you make, this is where you're truly reevaluating that. And the reasoning why is because it's not that you don't value what you do, you love what you do, right? It's not about that. It's about basically standing in your worth and truly recognizing, like I say, there's this whole thing about value. When we start looking at profit at a macro level, like I think what's really happened in consumerism, especially with big box stores, right, is it's more for less, right? This is truly going back to the ideas of honoring the value of truly just how special things are when they're one of a kind, when they're handmade, when we support local businesses, because that's basic economics. As we keep money within our local communities flowing and circulating, as you go to a local business rather than a big box store, you're basically putting money back into your community as opposed to letting it flow out. Same thing even with like the advent and the takeoff that's really, I almost wanted to use the word infecting, but let's go with it because it's truth. It's just a little harsh. Airbnb. It started as a wonderful idea to bring people together, in a very simple way, to bringing the bed and breakfast to home, right? Rather than wanting to stay at a hotel, you're really connecting with the community. You're connecting with people, making relationships that are supposed to cause lifelong bonds. Well, now what we see what's been done, especially with those PPP loans, is during that time, a lot of people that had money already and they put it under the business name so they're not legally liable for this type of fraud. And it's not fraud legally standing, it's just a misuse of power. They've taken these loans, which we as taxpayers pay for, right? They've bought up all these homes in communities. So now it's affected the rental environment. It's shot up the housing environment when it comes to pricing. It's made it so that all of that local economy that used to be there is now funneled out with absentee landlord aspects. So think about that. That's where, at a macro level, this new moon with Pluto moving direct, with Chiron coming into the mix as well, is really going to be offering some evolutionary change where we put a focus back on the communities that we support with basic economic understandings, and the way where we put our money holds intention, and who has the power with that. We realize the empowerment that we do. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. On a micro level, though, for you, this is looking at it from the other side. If you've been launching a business, where you put your money, all that cognizant effort, that mindfulness, intentions around your budget, being charged fairly for your work, for the work that you do, attracting the prosperity and keeping it local with honoring the value of originality, one-of-a-kind aspects, what we bring to the table, honoring each other with reciprocity and respect. This also, I will say, this new moon has a very tense alignment with Chiron, Pluto, and Jupiter. So that's kind of where I bring this all up at the macro level. These three together, with this new moon in Libra, with the sun in Libra, is allowing a moment to address old wounds related to value, resources, self-esteem. Fully embrace and initiate a new chapter, especially for Virgos, where it revolves around financial wealth, financial worth, and self-worth opportunities. So it's charging your worth fairly, balancing the emotional labor of your life, where you're investing, how you're seeing that 10 of coins return on investment. This is where we're truly valuing and lifting up hard work and making sure that it's rewarded, right? Where we've been exploited, affirming a boundary, knowing that no is a sentence. That's all that's needed. How we support our community with economics, how we support our family, how we achieve family and community through success and lift each other up by truly supporting each other and contributing. This is a gorgeous new moon. It's healing those past financial hurts, unhealthy relationship patterns that affect your self-worth, and recalibrate your intentions and your goals for how you earn, how you save, and how you spend your resources. You have the Midas touch, and you're being kissed with the biggest season for success this Libra season in all of 25. So, looking at these last cards as well, like I say, it's moving into this place basically where it's like wherever you felt that Four of Swords, and it's entering into a place of universal balance with the balance working in your favor. Karma, rewards, gifts, receiving, financial opportunities, and attracting your worth, knowing your worth, where you've had that taken away and disempowered you in the past. This is where you see new opportunities, a new path is presenting itself with this new moon, a new beginning, a new chapter, new opportunity, and embracing those choices that truly matter. Looking at the world and seeing the long term, the long haul in your choices, in your actions, where you invest, where you see that return on investment, how you earn, how you save, how you utilize and spend your resources with your choices, and know that each and every one of them, with the mindfulness that each and every one of them has and holds weight, especially with Mars in Scorpio. I mean, he's empowering us this season, and he'll be in this season in his home with Scorpio this whole Libra season. So don't worry, he's got your back. We all do. And if all that resonates, by all means, if this resonates with you, please like, share, subscribe, help get this message out to the ears that need to hear it. Also, too, I just want to say thank you guys to each and every one of you for how, like, every which way that you support this channel. Oh, I already did these. Never mind. Let me go into the spirit animal totems while I talk. But truly, every interaction, every like, every subscribe, every comment connects us together, makes this channel a success. Every super thanks, every donation, every interaction with the Honey Sea Star store. You know, the designs are meant to empower, lift you up, support you during your day. But every way that you guys support this channel helps me also support my boys, me and my boys, and helps support this channel in a way where I can keep doing these and keep putting these videos together and lifting all of us up together so that we all operate in our strength, at our best, in our highest timeline. So truly, thank you guys. Each and every one of you make a difference. And I don't say that enough. I don't know if I say that enough, but I'm saying it in the here and now. And I'm just saying I love you so much. I love you back for all the love that you share. Now, before we go here as well, I mean, look at this. This is gorgeous. So, yeah. Inner knowing, just saying, follow your intuition. Your soul knows the way. Now's the time to stand in your confidence. Your destiny is blessed. Let yourself fly this Libra season, because there's loyal friends that are going to be with you. And in your confidence, you will achieve your destination. Like I say, this is for the long haul, long term, Midas touch, yours. Everything that you're working on. You're the inventor. This is that innovation, intuitive power, and energy that Pluto is going to be helping us with, that Mars is going to be helping us with, that Mercury, Venus is going to be helping us with. So this is deciding on what you really want, right? Venus will help with that. Mars will empower you. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster and practice your integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them well. Libra is all about that balance. You got this, especially when it comes to your emotional and your material resources. This season is yours. And it's really with the Raven, this is where you are the creator. Spirit is reminding you, you're the magician, you're the creator, you're a fractal of source, right? We're all connected. Now is the time to use your gifts for good. Know your worth. Charge your worth. When you do that, people will be happy to pay. For those that truly honor you and respect, really love what you do, people will be happy to reciprocate that energy in monetary form. Don't second guess yourself. Don't dim your light. There's power in your wisdom and your words, and you're meant to share them. You're meant to have success within them, especially when it comes to tying them to your work, your career. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place this Libra season as the shaman with the Raven, and pay attention to the synchronicities because nature will be talking with you during this time as well. Now also too, before we go, I do just want to look at our major arcana and what we pulled. I cannot believe this. So both of my boys are sleeping on the couch, little snores, cute as a button. Put a heart if you can hear, if you've been able to hear them. I hope you have. It makes me tickled. But either way, they've been so good. They haven't tried to tear any of the set, they haven't been our professional set rearrangers this whole time. I'm so impressed. But okay, so what we pulled with music and color therapy is the red and then also the green. Very much balanced, right? This is complementary in a very beautiful way. And then also too, what we pulled music-wise is C sharp and F. So practice around with that with your music meditation. It'll help you with unblocking or addressing with any issues that have been blocking your third eye or your crown chakra. But either way, I am sending you guys so much love and light. I hope you have a wonderful Libra season. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.